Welcome back to the Coach Dad podcast. I'm Mama Rush, and today we're talking about development. Not just about how an athlete builds speed, size, or skills, but how they grow as people. Development is about dedication, discipline, humility, and the support system around them. In this episode, Coach Dad shares what it really takes to help young athletes reach their potential and why parents and coaches are as much a part of the process as the kids themselves. How are you this evening, Coach Dad?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing fantastic. Super excited to be doing this now second episode with you.
I know it's strange to have our own podcast, but we're gonna give it a shot.
We're giving it a go. I'm excited. I'm going to go right into the first question. When you talk about development, what does it mean beyond just getting stronger or faster?
Well, for me, when I talk about development, I'm talking about developing the whole child. Who do we want them to be as people? You know, are they a good person? You know, do they have discipline? Do they have humility? Do they have empathy? Are they coachable? You know, are they a good person when it comes to being kind to other kids or being thoughtful? All those things. And I know a lot of people don't want to get into the mushy side, but but you know whether a kid is a good kid, and people walk away and like, oh man, that's a good kid.
But why does that matter? I mean, I'm thinking about, like, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Why does that matter?
No one really wants to coach. And again, I hope I'm not being offensive. Nobody wants to coach a jerk. Nobody wants to coach the kid that talks about himself in third person.
Got
and
it.
Everybody thinks that, you know, he thinks that he's the best thing since sliced bread. You want a kid that's a part of the team, that's a part of the whole, that's willing to pick his teammates up when they're down and not berate them and talk down to them. Is he a good person? Is she a good person? All those things matter. So when I think about development, I begin in those aspects. And so for us as a family, a part of our development is, what is our base?
Right.
When we start talking about our belief structure, our belief is firstly and formally rooted in Christ.
Yes.
In the teachings of Christ. And we try to impart biblical principles in their lives so they will have guide rails to guide them through their journey. And we begin there because that's going to give them the foundation to help navigate everything else. Then from there, we start talking about our own family morals and principles. You know, as we think about ourselves, we're known for being a close-knit family.
Yes.
So much so that we assigned a little to each big. And so it was Elijah and Shelly, and it was Cruz and David.
Right.
And no matter if it was cleanup time or it was playtime or whatever it is, hey, where's your big boy?
Right. They were with their partner.
They were with their partner because family is a big deal for us.
It is.
And, you know, sometimes some people took it as a detriment because they thought that they should be out chasing their friends, and why aren't they more social?
I know. Did we not get that all the time? How come he's so stoic?
Yeah.
How come it's like they had a little twin language. Why are Elijah and Cruz always together?
But once they expressed their love, we had goals in mind.
Yeah.
We had direction that we wanted to go in. And not everybody shares our belief structure. And so
that's okay.
I don't want to sound like a separatist.
Right.
But we're not everybody's cup of tea and not everybody's ours.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Okay. So how do dedication, discipline, and humility, the things that we just spoke about, how do those things shape an athlete's growth specifically?
Again, are they coachable? Are they willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater, you know, of the whole? Are they dedicated to being better?
Yeah.
Are they willing to persevere through hardships? You know, do they give up at the first sign of stress or the first sign of it being, you know, too hard for them? How do they cope with stress? How do they manage their emotions? How do they manage the ups and downs, the disappointments?
So you said it's your responsibility to get them the resources to succeed. What resources make the biggest difference?
It depends on the child.
Okay.
It depends of what they're going after, what their deficiencies are. And so before I determine what resources they need, I'm partnering with the coach. Hey, coach, give me your honest assessment.
Right.
Hey, they need to get faster? They need to get quicker. They need to get stronger. What are those additional things? They need to be able to manage, their emotions better because, hey, he just gets down on himself every time, he makes a mistake. Where can I fill in the gaps? And then now we can go work on a development plan.
So it sounds like that partnership with the coach is critical
Absolutely.
for their development, for
Absolutely.
their growth.
Absolutely.
So then to piggyback off of that, what role do parents and coaches play in being as much a part of the athlete's success as the athlete themselves?
I think as a parent, I have the responsibility to pair them with the right coach because not every coach sees it as their responsibility to mentor, to train, to develop, to be a good role model. Some coaches are just out there because this is what I've done for 20 years.
Right.
And some coaches, have a real passion for it. And it's my responsibility as a parent to pair them with someone that shares some of our common goals.
Okay, but what happens if now they're in a high school setting?
Mm-hmm.
Are you suggesting uprooting them from the
Are they in the right
school?
high school setting?
Okay.
I've talked to a number of coaches around the country, and some believe that it's their responsibility to help your kid get to the next level. Some believe absolutely not. It's not my responsibility. I don't get paid enough. I've had parents that come to me and say, hey, my coach said that, it's not their role to help us. Can you give us some information to, help Junior get to, whatever college it is. And there are some coaches that absolutely are getting on the phone, making phone calls, talking them up when recruiters coming around, all those different pieces that are necessary. But I don't want to get into all those pieces
another
yet.
podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast to talk about recruitment. But as a parent, it's my responsibility to pair them with good people, with people that share our beliefs,
right,
that share our desires for a common goal.
Got it. That makes me think about some of the coaches that we've worked with. Even the boys, you think, being at a Power 5 school, being at the next level, when they come home and they're getting additional training, they're getting additional training with the coaches that coached them when they were in middle school and high school.
Correct.
These are the coaches that helped to build the foundation of who they are just as much as we did.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I'm saying that is because I've seen that in practice.
Yeah.
In other words, I've seen that you practice what it is you're preaching at this moment.
And, I don't want to get into the space of loyalty because
right,
my loyalty is to my kid.
Right.
But I believe in you dance with the girl you brought to the prom.
Wow. Okay, that's 80s.
That's 80s. But if they helped us get here, it's not that we can't expand and get some additional things.
I get it.
But I still want to work with those foundational people who have a care level.
Right. And an investment.
Kid, right?
They've invested in them.
Who've invested in them. And again, I don't want to get to the high school piece yet and the college piece yet, but it's my responsibility to surround them with good people.
Okay. Well, I agree with that. All right. So there's a final question for you. How do you balance the mental side? And you've said this before, me versus me.
Yes.
Staying focused and defining what success really looks like. And can you speak on what me versus me is? Can you expound?
So, the mental side of the game, as I alluded to earlier, how do you manage your emotions, your highs and lows, your ups and downs? How do you manage the disappointments? How do you manage being ridiculed? How do you handle all those pieces? Because all those things are going to happen. How do I help my athlete to to navigate that and to negotiate those waters? Because if they crumble when somebody criticizes them, or when they hear some parent yelling from the stands, block somebody or go tackle somebody, as though they didn't have that idea already.
Right.
But how do you tune that out and not be offended?
Yeah.
And know that the main thing is the main thing.
Yes.
And I'm not out here competing with Jimmy. I'm competing against Jimmy, but I'm not comparing myself to Jimmy. I'm trying to be the best version of me today.
Got it.
And every day it's me versus me. Am I better than I was yesterday? Am I the best version that I can be right now? And then how much farther can I push myself tomorrow?
That reminds me, this is not going to be a football analogy, but it reminds me of whenever Michelle PRs in track.
Yeah.
So her newest PR is her next goal that she's trying to beat.
Right.
And she's constantly reaching for a new PR.
Right.
Me versus me.
But even in that, you don't have to PR every time.
Right.
Did you run your best race?
Got it. Yeah.
Because sometimes there can be a million reasons why you didn't PR, but are you getting better? Getting better doesn't just show up in the times. Getting better shows up in your form and your poise and your ability to win the race in front of you. Me versus me.
Right.
And you know what? I came in second today. I know I wanted to come in first, but I ran as fast as I could. I ran in the form that the coach told me to run. I walk away with my head held high, knowing that I did the best that I could today.
It reminds me of your mentality after Michelle came in fourth for this year's Junior Olympics 100-meter hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
She had a PR.
Mm-hmm.
And after the race, for people that don't know, Michelle hates to lose. Michelle hates to come in second place, period. Right. But I think that what you said to her was very important, and the perspective that you put it in was very important.
And so what I simply said to her, she had already won the national championship in the 200, and she very much wanted to double that up,
right,
and run. The girl who ended up winning simply had a better day.
Yep. Period.
And she ran the fastest she ever ran.
Right.
And Michelle ran the fastest she ever ran. And guess what? I can walk away. I can live with that.
Right. Because she gave you the best version of herself. She gave me
the best she had in that moment. And unfortunately, it fell short. But fortunately enough for us, we're not ashamed. She's still an All-American.
Right. She
still walks away better than most in the nation. And she walks away knowing that she gave her best effort and she did the best she could in that race.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's important because you still had to coach her on her own personal temperature check.
But that's all a part of development.
Right.
So she doesn't walk away beating herself up because she thinks Dad is disappointed I didn't win.
Right, right.
I wasn't there for that.
Nope.
I was there to see you be the best you.
That's right.
And we'll walk away with our head held high, knowing you did the best you could.
And I think her getting that, this is just me, being there. I think her receiving that from you made her really, it teaches her how her own inner dialogue needs to be. It's a lesson.
Yeah.
And I think that was a real-time lesson that is a perfect example for this conversation.
Right.
Well, that was the last question. Do you have any final thoughts about development?
So in the last episode, I talked about the importance of your why. And one of the things that I want to leave with both athletes and parents, the why for both the parent and the why for both the child. You both need to know what your why is. And many times, the parent expects their why to be the same as the child's why, and they may be oceans apart.
Right.
And that's why you need to talk in the dialogue to see what those things are. we were just watching the series on Barry Sanders,
Yes, that was good.
and Barry Sanders' why was not self accolades. He didn't want
No.
the Heisman Trophy or MVPs or any of those, individual accolades. He wanted to please his dad,
Yes, he did.
and he just wanted his dad to walk away and say, "Well done."
Mm-hmm.
And so, to that end, what was his dad's why? As you look at his dad's why, his dad loved the accolade and the love,
Yes.
the individual trophies and, to say, hey, that's my son. And those whys might seem to relate, but they're oceans apart.
Right.
One is, hey, I want to bask in how proud I am of my son. And the other one is, I just want to be good for that guy because I want him to be proud of me.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so understanding that, I say to parents, don't let your why outshine your child's why.
Right.
Don't let that overshadow, because now it's about you and not about him or her, whatever, that is. And make sure that they understand what that motivation factor is. And then that's the way you can help motivate them through that. Because what I'm constantly trying to do for my little ones, for me, is to remind them that if your why is wrapped up in pleasing me, be advised that your pleasing me is not about you winning. It's not about you losing. It's about, did you give your best? And if you can say that, all is well in the world.
All is well. That's a great place to end. Well, that's it for today's conversation on development. We talked about what it means beyond the physical side of the game, the dedication, discipline, and humility it takes, and the responsibility parents and coaches carry to give kids the right resources. Remember, development isn't a quick win. It's a daily process. Thank you so much for listening to the Coach Dad podcast. Interact with us, like, subscribe, and comment. Let's have some conversation. Until then, join us next time as we dig into the next piece of the puzzle: dedication.